They can ask you to strengthen, they can ask you to weaken, they can ask you anything. But you already won if you've just reacted to the ridiculous shit that they're trying to force down your throat.
Hello and welcome to episode 531 of the Thinking LSAT podcast. I'm Ben Olson. With me is Nathan Fox. We're the co-founders of LSATdemon.com and the LSAT Demon Daily podcast. What was the October LSAT harder? I was just surprised by the question. Sorry.
Well, Demon student Audrey wrote in about the rhetoric online about the LSAT. And you and I have been doing this for far longer than necessary to know that this just happens from time to time. The internet convinces itself that the test was harder. Right? I mean, there's 9 tests every year, and we've been dealing with this for decades now, that the internet just blows up on particular tests. And this was one where the internet just blew up. But I think we can safely debunk the idea that the October LSAT was actually harder. Sorry, folks. People want to believe it if they didn't do well, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So Audrey says, "Hello, LSAT Demon team. After getting my result from the October LSAT, I am so happy to have earned a 172 exclamation point. I didn't start my LSAT journey with LSAT Demon, but when I made the switch, I was able to break through the mid 160s into the high 160s and low 170s. So I sincerely thank you guys. However, following this October LSAT, the reactions I have seen online are nothing like what I saw in August when I took it for the first time. This is an insane amount of people who are completely shocked by their score and are seeking out a score audit. Do you think that this is just a case of a lot of people feeling confident after this test, but that confidence being inaccurate? Or could it indicate that LSAC has changed the curve? Personally, I don't agree with the narrative that the difficulty of this test was at a level never seen before. Although the RC was without a doubt more difficult than what I have seen in a lot of practice tests, I still think the practice tests are very reflective of how the exam is. I'm just wondering what the LSAT Demon's thoughts on these results are. Is LSAC changing things up, or do people not have a good gauge of how they are performing on the test? Best, Audrey." So Audrey got a 172. She sees all of this kerfuffle online and says, "What? Was it really harder?"
Yeah.
We got a bunch of reports here from our LSAT Demon Discord. You want to scan through those quick?
Yeah. This first one is from Alex. Alex writes, "Nice. 172 was my target score, so I'm happy." What did Alex get? Oh, Alex got a 172. Thank you. Nice. Paul says, "Less 10 points from when I took it in January. I don't know, though. I could do a little better."
That's great. I hope.
Got a 173.
Yeah, Paul thinks he can do better than that 173. I believe him. I mean, we tell people to get greedy off of 173 all the time. So if your practice test scores indicate you can do better, Paul, you should probably go ahead and take it again.
Maxwell writes, 163 diagnostic in August to a 170 official score, which was my goal. And then Maxwell writes, "Let's go." Maxwell, that's great. Congratulations. And I appreciate your baseball that you have here, this icon
Screaming
that's going crazy.
baseball, yeah.
But go further. Let's go further.
Yeah, let's go
further. If you had a diagnostic of 163, right, you can do even better.
Yeah, people who start as high as 163 should not settle for a 170. This is the beginning of your legal career, and starting your legal career with a 177 or something is going to open doors that 170 is not quite going to crack. So good job, but you can do better. Last one.
Megan writes, "Feeling really lucky and thankful right now. This is a 10-point jump for me from the August 2024 test. And this was done with just LSAT Demon, no tutoring. This test meant a lot for me because I experienced something that causes brain damage this summer and really wanted to prove to myself that I was capable of accomplishing academic feats." Gee, okay. Interesting detail. The score is 178.
178 with brain damage. Wow. Imagine how
Hmm.
good she could do if she didn't have brain damage.
Wild. Yeah.
No. Ben, what do you think? Was the October LSAT harder?
No. I think it's most likely just the way it's always been. And people got to realize that LSAC has huge incentives to keep the test standardized. It's a standardized test so that schools can look at any score and compare it to other scores without having to adjust based on the time it was taken.
Yeah. And they do not curve it, by the way. It has nothing to do with the other people who were taking the test against you on that day. The score is scaled, it's determined in advance. And I don't know. We've seen this just too many times. There's the people who really underperformed hop online and they're loud. And then every once in a while, it just sort of catches traction and other people chime in, including people who didn't work as hard, people who weren't actually prepared. All it takes is one person to like kick off the avalanche, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they
Mm-hmm.
might have like legitimately underperformed because that happens all the time. And you just take it again. Law schools only care about your highest score. But what happens with these I don't know, I used kerfuffle earlier. I guess I'll say it again.
Mm.
What happens with these is just that it catches some traction and then it just kind of cascades from there.
Yeah.
And everybody convinces themselves that the sky is falling. And, our constant advice is don't sign up for the test until you're happy with your timed practice test scores. Once you do sign up for the test, plan on taking it at least twice and always have a backup until you have exhausted your 5 attempts, if necessary. Because shit can happen on any 1 or 2 or 3 given trials. And we've sent people to actual Yale Law School who took the test 5 times.
Yeah.
So you're crazy for letting one bad test interrupt your whole career. You should just keep taking it. If your practice tests justify, you should take it again. Next one up is coming from listener Josh, who is asking about our drill rating system.
Good evening. What is the overall purpose of the drill ratings? The Demon website states not to obsess over the ratings, but the rating system can be frustrating. My LR rating is an 88 and my RC rating is a 67. I try to do and review one section, at least of RC or LR a day, with drilling mixed in. And I have seen significant improvements in my practice test scores and section scores. My diagnostic was a 148 and my highest practice test score is a 167. And I know I still have more in the tank.
Great.
I'm a big fan of your approach and the way the demon works, but I really get frustrated with my RC67. What do you think of a beta period where you did away with the ratings completely and measured what users thought of the change? I know I should be drilling and not writing this email. Thanks.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's tough. So the reason I struggle with an answer here is that the rating system is simply looking at the questions that you attempt and whether you got them right or wrong and their difficulty level and your time. And if you get all your questions right, it can only either stay the same or go up.
Mm-hmm.
It might not go up as quickly as you like. For example, in reading comp, if you do a level 3 passage, it wouldn't affect a 67
Mm-hmm.
unless there are level 5 questions in that passage. So you might do a passage and see no change in your score, but if you do a level 4, level 5 passage with harder questions and you get those right, your score will go up. So, Josh, unless there's somehow you're avoiding passages that are harder or you're getting questions wrong that are easier, your score will go up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I would add, Josh, you can just hide those ratings. Those ratings
Fair
on the
enough.
homepage can collapse. So if you don't find the ratings helpful, or if you find them demotivating, they're meant to be motivating because they will tend to go up over time if you're following our advice. But if you find them demotivating or distracting for whatever reason, you can just hide them and then you don't have to look at them.
Yeah, that's an easy solution. I mean, it does seem like you might be struggling in RC more. I'd be curious if you think that's wrong, but
Oh, that seems clearly correct.
yeah.
I mean, I would have no doubt that Josh is struggling on RC more. And Josh, what that probably means is that you need to work on RC a little bit more than you currently are. We normally recommend like 2/3 LR and 1/3 RC because that's how the test is balanced.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a pretty stark difference between your LR and RC ratings, like Josh does, maybe you would bump that up to like half and half, half LR, half RC.
Yeah. Or if you do Demon's Choice in drilling, it will automatically start to favor RC more if your scores are lower.
Yeah. Demon's Choice means you don't have to even think about it. You don't have to waste time doing any analysis. Just hit Demon's Choice and do whatever the demon tells you to do. Okay.
What do you think about Josh's one section a day plan plus drilling?
Sounds like a lot. I mean, it just depends on how much time Josh actually has. I've known a lot of students who have successfully done a section a day,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. Are you thoroughly reviewing all of your mistakes? Are you figuring out, not just what the answer is, but are you figuring out why the right answer is right? Are you figuring out why the wrong answer is wrong? Are you getting yourself far enough into the weeds that occasionally you need to use the ask button to talk to our team of tutors to say, hey, I don't understand this about your explanation for answer choice B or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
You say it's wrong for this reason, but that doesn't really make any sense to me. I thought it was right because of that reason. Can you help me? If you're not doing that occasionally, I just don't think you're like really reviewing deeply enough. So, from that perspective, yeah, Josh, you might be doing too much practice with not enough review.
Cool.
Okay.
So this next item on the agenda is something we've talked about a lot before, and now we finally have some hard information to
Yeah,
share.
we do.
This is about colleges with A pluses.
Yeah, I was surprised to learn that even some LSAT Demon team members do not know that LSAC calculates A pluses as 4.33s, regardless of how the undergraduate institution calculates A pluses.
Mm.
So if your school doesn't put A pluses on your transcript, then you're out of luck.
Mm-hmm.
But if they do put A pluses on their transcript, they might count it as 4.3 or they might not count it as 4.3. And it does not matter how your school calculates it, because when you apply to law school in the United States, you're going to use the Credential Assembly Service from the Law School Admission Council. That's like the common app for law schools. And when you do that, they're going to recalculate your GPA. And if you have any A pluses on your record, those are going to be calculated as 4.33. So it's possible to have a higher GPA on your LSAC number than on your transcript. What do you do if your school doesn't allow A pluses? Are you totally out of luck?
You're totally out of luck, and I'm sorry. Goodbye. No, you can go and sign up for classes at a community college that offers A pluses. Just do it before you graduate from undergrad.
Yep, as long as you have not yet gotten your first bachelor's degree. And now, of course, LSAC can always like go in and change these rules later.
Mm-hmm.
But we know just from talking to our own team members that people have been aware of this and have been gaming the system for quite some time already.
Mm-hmm.
One of our teachers said, oh, yeah, I looked at my syllabus. I looked at the syllabi of all the classes that I was thinking about taking every semester,
Mm,
and I emphasized classes that offered A pluses because I wanted to give myself a chance at that sweet 4.33,
yeah,
even though my school doesn't calculate them that way.
which is
I
irrelevant.
knew I was
Yeah.
going to law school, so I wanted to give myself a chance at those A pluses. Well, thank you, listener community. Some of you reached out to us at thinkinglsat.com, and thank you to our team. We have a list here of 17 community colleges that give out A pluses, as well as some other non-community colleges that offer classes at low costs. A couple we wanted to highlight.
Okay.
Northeast Community College. It's a 2-year institution in Nebraska. In-state residents pay $131 per credit. And by the way, Iowa, South Dakota, Wyoming, Colorado, Kansas, and Missouri all count as in-state students at this Northeast Community College. $131 a credit there. Out-of-state students, $174 a credit. All fees are included. Anyone can enroll as a non-degree student through the online portal they have. And they have online asynchronous courses like OFFT 1500. That's a class on Microsoft Office Administrative Assistant.
Hmm.
That'd be probably really good to know about if you're going to go work in a law office, by the way.
Yeah, this is funny because it seems like an easy A plus. At the same time, make sure you know all about Microsoft Office, right? This is not a bad
Yeah.
skill to just like double check that you are an
Yeah.
expert. Yeah.
Yeah. Agri 2870. That's a class on agricultural law.
Hmm.
Hey, a law class.
Yeah.
Info 1010 is fundamentals of information technology.
Hmm.
We're going to link to their course search in our show notes. Anybody who's looking to rehabilitate a bad old GPA might think about trying to take one of these classes and totally crushing it.
Hmm.
Anybody who already has a good GPA but is looking to gild the lily even more,
Yeah.
you might be interested as well. There's a couple other classes or a couple other schools in Nebraska, as it turns out. Central Community College and Southeast Community College both offer A pluses. Foothill College is in the Los Altos Hills of California.
Mm.
They offer opportunities for students to take non-degree courses. If you're a California resident, it's only $31 per credit.
Wow.
More expensive if you're out of California. Additional semester fees range from $30 to $60 depending on residency and the amount of credits you're taking. I mean, this is still just very small potatoes compared to the cost of law school.
This is 100% worth it. This is wild.
Yep. You can take CNSL 72. That's a class on stress, wellness, and coping.
Useful.
You can take COM 2, which is a class on interpersonal communication. Business 61, that's a class on investment fundamentals.
Wow.
Again, we will link to their course search in our show notes. The California Community College system has a total of 8 community colleges that give A pluses. Their in-state tuition maxes out at $46 per credit hour for California residents.
So the primary goal here, at least in my mind, is for students to take these classes online from anywhere in the country. Clarify, we talked about schools in Nebraska, and then we talked about a school in California, and then some other schools in California. It's not about whether you're in that state. The only advantage of being in that state is saving some money on the credits, but you can be anywhere. You can take these classes, and the goal is to get an A plus. So you got to keep track of what the withdraw deadline, right? So that if you start the class and you're like, oh shit, I'm not going to get an A plus in this class.
Yep.
Withdraw from that class before that deadline so that it's not on your record. Otherwise, you're going to undercut your goals here. But while you're at it, learn some useful skills like stress, wellness, and coping. Take something away from that class and get ready
for learn something and get an A plus.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Check this out. Oh, this came in late last night. This is honorable mention.
Okay.
Arizona State University Universal Learner Courses. It's an online program from ASU. Students can register for classes for $25 and pay $400 at the end if they would like it for actual college credit.
Holy shit.
Which means I think, yeah, you don't have to pay if you don't like your grade. It's the equivalent of score preview, except for
Yeah.
instead of it costing way too much in the first case for nothing,
Mm-hmm.
it costs very little in the first case, and then you pay for the grade if you actually like the grade you got.
Yeah. 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 Wow.
Apparently, the courses that are offered through this program cap out at A's and not A pluses.
Hmm.
But that's still a damn good way to rehabilitate. If you had a real bad freshman year or whatever, you got sick, shit happened, everybody's got a million different excuses for why they have bad grades.
Yeah.
But if you have not yet earned your first bachelor's degree
Mm-hmm.
and you have a GPA that you wish was better,
Mm-hmm.
boy, you could take European history or biology or introduction to project management and maybe learn something that you're actually interested in.
Yeah.
And through this program, it's $25 and that's it.
Yeah.
Unless you see a grade that is going to raise your GPA, at which point you pay the $400 and you get actual college credit.
Wow. Very
I
cool.
hope listeners will correct us if we're wrong about this. We believe that this is the way the system works, and we have lots of recent applicants, current and recent applicants in our team. So we're pretty confident that this is the way the LSAC system works. But if there's anything, as always, if there's anything that you want to clarify with us, please just reach out to us at thinkinglsat.com and tell us what we're wrong about so that we can spread the accurate information to the world. We have a list, by the way, of 17 total colleges that we can probably put that whole thing in the show notes. Or do we have a page for it? Oh, we do.
We'll have it by the time this goes live.
Perfect. So lsat.link/grades. All right, that works. lsat.link/grades. And you can see a list of all of these schools and data about them.
Nice. One other thing I want to point out is I could see people getting excited about this and then like signing up for these classes. Do not sign up. Forgetting about them? Yeah, don't be stupid, right? But also like don't prioritize these classes over your current classes.
Yeah, totally. And also, for those of you who are like me, who have a very bad old GPA, but I also graduated,
Yeah.
this offer does not apply.
Yep.
Once you get your first bachelor's degree, sorry, you're out of luck. Cool.
All right. Some quick announcements. We'll be at the Phi Alpha Data pre-law conference at the Hilton Alexandria Mark Center in Alexandria, Virginia on Friday, November 7th.
Delta.
Delta?
Phi Alpha Delta, yeah.
Oh, what did I say? I don't even know what I
Data.
said. Okay, not that. Thank you. The expo starts at 10 a.m. The first 200 students get a free copy of the LSAT is Easy. That's our book, which is also on Amazon for $6.27, I believe.
True.
Okay. You can also join our team at the San Francisco LSAC Law School Forum. That's on Saturday, November 15th. That's at the San Francisco Marriott Marquis. I hope I'm saying that right. That's open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Again, first 200 people get a free copy of the book. You can register at lsac.org/law school forums.
I would probably say marquee on that, but
what did I say? I think I said marquee, right?
You said marquee.
Marquis? Let's go with marquis.
Sure.
No. Yeah, marquis sounds, that sounds a little more French.
Yeah.
I already struggle with English pronunciation, so adding like French is just like someone shooting a gun at me. But anyways, okay.
Hey, the LSAT is easy. It is available on Amazon, and it's $6.27 if you want the sweet paperback version. It's also available instantly for 99 cents on Kindle.
Okay.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
And we have an audiobook version coming soon. Not sure exactly where that is, but it'll be at you.
Does
That's as cheap as we can possibly sell the book, by the way. We
yeah.
make no money on selling the LSAT is easy. We especially make no money when we give away hundreds of copies of it at these events.
Mm.
Might have to rethink our business model on that. Anyway, go see Abigail and Billy and company in Alexandria on Friday, November 7th. Any other announcements?
No. Do you have any?
Oh, and sorry, and San Francisco. I forgot that you already did the San Francisco one.
Yeah.
Saturday, November 15th. All right, cool. What's next?
Tips from departing demons. So now that we had that test, we have people who are leaving. When they unsubscribe, they can fill out a survey. Some people say, hey, they love the demon. Some people say, no, they didn't. But some people have the opportunity and take it to share their advice for their comrades. So here's Micah from Knoxville, Tennessee.
Micah says, slow down. Don't rush the questions. Don't rush the application process. I took the LSAT twice. The first time I was worried about applying this cycle and scored a 173, which was well below my practice tests. I decided to wait for the next cycle, which removed the stress of applying and scored a 179. Take your time. Don't stress. Just do the questions in front of you. Good job, Micah. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's funny. Micah says a 173 is well below my practice test. Can't be that much further.
Yeah, 5 or 6 points, I suppose. But I mean, he did back it up, right?
Yeah.
With the scoreboard, 179. So, yeah, I agree with you, Micah. Probably the biggest mistake people make is just rushing into signing up for tests they're not ready for, deciding when they're going to apply to law school before they've even started prepping for the LSAT. Those are big, strategic errors that lead to then like cascade of tactical errors.
Mm-hmm.
You just go about the whole process the wrong way because you're trying to do it faster than you're really able to do it. Next one is Emily from San Diego.
Listen to the demon way. And then she gives us 3 exclamation points.
Wow.
I went from a 156 to a diagnostic. I'm assuming I went from a 156 diagnostic to a 173 on my first official attempt. And it's all thanks to the groundbreaking, and that's in quotes, okay, groundbreaking method of just understanding the words that you are reading. Yeah, okay, that's funny. We do joke about this. All we want people to do is understand the words that are in front of them. But it's not that groundbreaking. But it seems like it is in this industry. Anyways, yeah. Emily continues, take a second to pause after each comma and period. Do not skim. Throw away the pencil and paper. Gimmicks can only take you so far. Maybe if you want to go from a 150 to a 155. Otherwise, if you truly want to master the test, you simply need to actively interact with the passage. If something sounds weird, you should have a voice in your head calling it out. Do not just accept what the author is saying and move on.
First practice test of a 156 and best practice test of a 172. Oh, but a 173 on her first official attempt.
Yeah.
I can't emphasize enough how many shortcuts there are in the test for people who read actively and like think about it while they're reading. There's like you're going to read shit on the LSAT where the first sentence says something totally unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
The first sentence will just be like, Lake Tahoe must be made of blueberry jello.
Yeah.
This is because, and like, if you're doing it the wrong way, you just go, okay, Lake Tahoe's made of blueberry jello.
Mm-hmm. Next.
And then you just go on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Where anybody who's actually thinking about it goes, what the fuck are you talking about? Lake Tahoe's not made of blueberry jello.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And you've already identified, hey, this sounds like bullshit to me. This is probably the conclusion of their argument. Let me see if they're going to have evidence in favor of this terrible conclusion. You've primed yourself to jump all over whatever dumb argument they're going to make in favor of the proposition that Lake Tahoe must be made of blueberry jello.
Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't happen if you don't actually think about it. But if you do think about it, you're like, what?
Yeah.
How can they possibly what? And then, okay, maybe sometimes they just ask you, what was the conclusion of the argument?
Yeah.
Lake Tahoe's made out of blueberry jello. It's ridiculous, but that was their conclusion.
Hmm.
And I knew it as soon as I read it. In other cases, they're going to ask you about assumptions that were required in the argument or reasoning. How did they do their reasoning? Or they can ask you to strengthen, they can ask you to weaken, they can ask you anything. But you've already won if you've just reacted to the ridiculous shit that they're trying to force down your throat.
The blueberry jello example is pretty extreme, but I still remember in class telling people about a sentence that was saying that the global average temperatures were dropping in the last decade.
Yeah, and you're just like,
And
what? I don't think so.
yeah,
Not doesn't seem like what I've been reading about nonstop for the past 20 years.
could be true, but I remember asking the class, like, what do you think of that? And so many people just shrugged their shoulders, just like, I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, just not thinking about it. It's like you
What?
want to just like snap your, like, hey, hello, wake up.
Yeah.
What are you doing? That just said that the temperatures are going down. I don't think probably that's true. I don't know.
Isn't that just remotely surprising to you? Even if it turns out to be true, it doesn't matter. It's just like, hello. Yeah.
Not being political or anything, by the
Yeah.
way. Not saying what caused this, not saying what we should do about it, not saying
Yeah.
anything. Just saying, wait, temperatures are going down?
Yeah. Are you sure about that?
Really?
Why?
You sure about that? Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Okay. This next one is from Alexis. She's from Brooklyn, New
Oh,
York.
you skipped Jake.
Oh, I skipped Jake. Oh, Jake's also from Brooklyn. Okay. Sorry, Jake.
Okay, Jake from Brooklyn says, I went from a 155 diagnostic in 2021 to a 172 on the October 2025 exam, which, as we talked about at the top of the show, was not actually harder, despite what the internet claims. Jake says, I studied for the test 4 years ago using another company, and I could not get off the ground. I ended up shelving my law school ambitions and worked full time in the music industry for several years. My law school dreams returned this past spring, and I feel so lucky that I came across the demon. I'm confident that if I had used any other service, my results would not have been as strong. Thank you for the wonderful, intuitive, common sense approach to the test. What you say is true. The LSAT is easy. Now it's time to get those applications in.
Great.
155 diagnostic all the way up to a 175 best practice test. Possibly some room there for Jake to get greedy if he wants.
Yeah. Take it again.
Potentially.
Alexis writes, prioritize reviewing anything you are unsure of, got correct by accident or got wrong. Eliminate all apprehension. Don't let a single thing slip pursuit of mastery. And stay consistent as you have a leg up by simply being familiar with the test content as far as what they ask and what wrong/right answers tend to look like. Basically, make sure you are not confused about anything.
Or afraid. She said eliminate all apprehension, which basically means fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think like from understanding, you can stop being afraid of the test.
Yeah.
But you do have to stop just like letting your eyes glaze over. A lot of times it's just the intimidation, right? Oh, I can't. Oh, boy, that one.
Mm.
I don't know about that one. Yeah, that argument. Ooh, I don't know. That's a tough one. Yeah, okay, well, let's just fucking deal with it though. What's there's like 3 or 4 sentences there. Let's start with the first one. Let's unpack it. Let's get to the bottom of this. Because I promise you that the right answer makes sense and the wrong answers don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And we can, if we just refuse to let things slip past us, then we don't have to be afraid anymore. By the way, first practice test 164, best practice test 178. Good job, Alexis from Brooklyn. Last one is Dimitri from San Bruno, California. He says, study hard, and if you take it more than once, parentheses, you should, don't stop studying between the exams. Dimitri is scoring in the high 160s. Good job, Dimitri. I agree with that advice as well. Once you register for your first official test, you should probably be registered or plan on registering for the next one. And if necessary, the next one after that, the next one after that, and the next one after that. You don't need to take time off between tests. You need to delay your registration for the first one until you're sure you're ready. And then once you're sure you're ready, you need to plan on, hey, anything can happen on the day of the test. I think that this October test, the whole people freaking out online, I think it's a lot to do with people just overestimating how well they did. They probably quit studying,
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, I killed that one.
Hmm.
I'm done with the LSAT. Then 3 weeks pass. Then they get a shitty score back.
The curve must have changed.
Yeah, they blame it on the test. What are you talking about? Oh, and people complain like, well, the practice tests are not indicative of the actual. But the practice tests are actual tests. They're the real test with the real scoring scale. So I don't know what, I mean, and we've been dealing with these exact same issues and complaints for 20 years now. So take our word for it. The test doesn't change, but you're going to have good days and bad days. That's why you need to plan on taking it multiple times.
Hey,
I feel increasingly grandfatherly when I'm giving this advice because it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, just you're the old guy just sitting there in the rocking chair going like, yep.
it'll be fine.
Told you. I'll keep telling you. It's fine. I know you're not going to listen. I'll keep telling you.
Tell you again. Yeah. Sorry, I got a little distracted because I was thinking about Alexis's comment about eliminate all apprehension, right? And you said fear.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, in the Dark Knight Rises
Okay.
movie, right?
Yeah.
You have Bane.
Okay.
And there's a scene where Bane is talking to a politician and they're in cahoots. But the politician says to his assistant, like, oh, you can no. Bane says to this like assistant who's standing there, like, leave. And the politician's like, no, you don't need to leave. You can stay here. I'm in charge. And Bane
Okay.
puts his hand on the politician's shoulder and says, do you feel in charge? And I just want people to be in Bane's position. I want them to be in charge of the test, not the other way around, right? Don't let the test be in charge.
Yeah.
You can own it, and you can own it by understanding it. So if something doesn't make sense to you, make sense of it, and then now you are in charge.
Yeah. Get prepared.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to have, if you don't want to have like test day underperformance, make sure you're prepared for test day, as documented by your timed practice test scores. And the way you're going to get those scores where you want them is just by learning, solving one more question, learning from one more mistake. And you'll get less and less afraid. And then hopefully you'll be able to walk in there on the day of the test with like a bit of swagger, right? So that you can just, yeah, okay, whatever. It's half my day. The proctors are probably going to interrupt me and be super annoying. There's going to be glitches in the software. I'm probably going to get sick and have to go use the restroom in the middle of the section. And that's going to like burn up a bunch of my time. But who cares? Because I know how to solve these questions. That's the attitude that you really need to try to develop as you head into any official test.
Cool. All right. This next one is about blind review scores.
Are we going to name the company or are we going to not name the company?
I think, no, I think the best way to do this is to name the company and then let people correct any misunderstandings that we have.
Okay, cool. So Seven Sage encourages its students to, quote, blind review after each practice test, and it gives students a separate blind review score from their practice test score. So they have a PT score and then they have a blind review score.
Okay. Yep.
From their website, we do have a link to their website. It says blind review is Seven Sages' way of separating fundamentals from technique or untimed from timed performance. In other words, you use the blind review process to see if your problem is knowing the material or simply not knowing it fast enough.
Okay. So they have a fundamental assumption there
Yep. What's that assumption?
that there is a difference between knowing and going quickly,
Hmm.
that they're two separate things.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they might even be making an assumption before that assumption, which is that there is such a thing as material to know.
Mm.
The material to know, as I see it, is basically the English language.
Yeah, it's more like the skills, right? Knowing the material, and I was interpreting that as understanding how to read, but that's actually different.
The thing that I just keep going back to all the time, and I saw a note this morning on our teacher Slack. I saw a note from someone who was in a tutoring session. In a review of one of our tutors, a tutoring student said, "It was so helpful working with the tutor on reading comprehension. I used to think that some of the sentences were just there as fillers or I forget what he said, like hollow sentences or like nothing sentences or something.
Throwaway, maybe?
Throwaway sentences.
Yeah.
And I realized after working with the tutor that you could get something out of every sentence." And I just laugh because it's like, yeah, it's called reading comprehension.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be reading and answering questions based on what you read. So that's what I think is the material that there is to be learned on the LSAT. Seven Sage has a different perspective. Seven Sage says, this is valuable because the insights gleaned from the blind review score can help you allocate your study time. If your blind review score is significantly higher than your untimed score, that suggests you ought to do more timed sections and drills to build speed. If, on the other hand, your blind review score isn't that much higher than your untimed score, your fundamentals are what need work, this might counsel in favor of reviewing the core curriculum. I have a big problem with the way students talk about and I think use this blind review score. I think that it's actually damaging to students to show them a blind review score. Because I just do not accept this idea that, okay, you scored 150 on the test, but then you scored 165 on blind review. Seven Sage would say, oh, so that means you need to practice going faster. I would say 165 on blind review means there's a shit ton of stuff you're just not understanding.
Especially since it's on blind review. That's not a 165 that you took on an untimed test. That would be one thing, right? But we're talking about a test you've already taken, and now you're doing it again.
I guess you didn't see the answers.
Sure. So in that sense, it's kind of like an untimed test, but it's a different experience.
Yeah. But, you know, it does say, so then it goes in more to like how whoever wrote this, and I'm sure it's well-meaning, but whoever wrote this said, here's how I would blind review if I were studying today.
Okay.
I would take the test. I would take the section or test under timed conditions. No cheating with extra time or breaks or anything like that. Flag every question that you're at all unsure about. Then take a break. Give your mind a chance to rest before blind review. This also gives you a fresh perspective on the questions you've just done. So you do a test, then you just put it away.
Okay. Take a break. Okay.
You come back the next day or 2 days later, whatever, do your blind review. Start with questions you guessed on and didn't answer, but then flip through the entire section. For unflagged questions, quickly confirm your answer and check that you didn't misread something. For flagged questions, go through them meticulously. Redo the questions and work through them until you can start to make sense of them, taking the time that you need. However, try to limit yourself to no more than 20 minutes or so for a given question. Blind review should not involve spending an hour or more on a given question. If you're stuck, go to another question and return to the tricky one after, but stick with it. Then score the section and add missed or flagged questions into a wrong answer journal.
Yeah. So there are some things getting lost here, right? One is that when you finally get told what the right or wrong answer is, you're going to be so far removed from your original attempt. You're not going to remember why you chose what you chose. I mean, people have this problem even when they review right after finishing a full practice test. This also
Yep.
encourages people to take, well, it sounds like they're open to doing this for sections, but I'm worried that people, if you're trying to get a blind review score,
Yeah, you're going to do the whole test.
you're going to do the whole test, which is
They're going to
the
wait 2 days.
least effective way to study. It is
Yes.
it is something that can and should be done occasionally before you take the test officially, so you know what you're getting into, but it creates more of a distance between you doing each question and review, and the more that distance increases, the less effective the review process.
Yep. Because you're just going to make the same mistake, right? You do a full test.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like, you're not reading carefully enough, you miss questions. You're not reading carefully enough, you miss questions. You're not reading carefully enough, you miss questions. If you do it this way, now you put the test away for a day, come back to it later, then you do the whole process again,
Mm-hmm.
redoing all the questions. Okay, you're not reading well enough, you're missing questions. You're not reading well enough, you're missing questions. Then you finally go into review. Yeah, and then in review, you're like, what? What was I thinking there? I have no, I don't know.
Hmm.
What else do you think about this?
A lot of time for fundamentally what we're trying to help you do is learn how to read. So this is where drilling and time sections become so valuable, because you do a question in drilling, you try your very best to get it right, to make sense of it, and then when you get it wrong, you get a slap on the wrist that says you misread something, and you immediately go figure out what you misread until it makes sense, and now it
Yeah.
clicks, and then you're moving on to the next question. It's those clicks that are going to move the ball forward. A wrong answer journal and spending long amounts of time reviewing questions before you get any feedback on them. I mean, that's what's crazy about this, is you're not getting feedback until way later. You're just,
Well, I think you're,
right? Because
oh, wait.
they're doing the whole blind review thing again, potentially up to 20 minutes per question.
Yeah, then scoring
And
it.
then
Then adding
scoring it.
questions into a wrong answer journal.
Yeah. Score the
I feel like
section.
at that
Yeah.
point, I mean, you've spent already 7 hours on this test
Mm-hmm.
between doing it and blind reviewing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then now you're going to also add these mistakes into a wrong answer journal instead of just learning from each mistake as you go.
Quickly.
I think the most dangerous thing about it, though, is the idea that a blind review score could encourage you. Oh, I get it. All I need is a 160,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a 145 on the test, but I got a 158 on blind review.
Mm-hmm.
All I need is a 160. So my problem is speed.
Yep. 100%.
My problem is not knowing the material. My problem is simply not knowing it fast enough.
People are already inclined to believe that anyway.
Right.
Oh, I get the fundamentals.
Right.
I get the fundamentals. I just, I don't know. I just don't get to the last few questions. And you're literally pursuing something that is actually going to hurt you.
I would say, in my experience dealing with former students from 7 Sage, this is maybe a good reason why we end up having so many former students from Seven Sage,
Mm,
because they're just like spinning their wheels. They're doing a whole bunch of effort,
yeah.
wasting all this time going through the core curriculum before they ever start doing real practice.
Mm-hmm.
Then burning up time with a bogus blind review process that ends up giving them some fake score that gives them the exact wrong message,
Mm-hmm.
putting all their mistakes into a wrong answer journal instead of actually learning from their mistakes.
Yeah.
And then, it doesn't work. So then they're trying to sell you one-on-one private tutoring, like the most expensive possible way that you can study. Our way is different. Our way is based on slowing down, learning the most from one question at a time. We're never going to try to sell you private tutoring, not unless you ask for it. And even then, we're going to try to talk you out of it.
Yeah.
Literally, we try to talk you out of it because we're like, have you not tried one of our plans that allow you access to our amazing team of teachers? Why don't you start with one of our reasonably priced subscription programs instead of trying to pay hundreds of dollars per hour for one-on-one?
Mm-hmm.
And we offer it. We've got plenty of people who want private tutoring and love it and ask us for it. But if people weren't asking us for it, we would not even offer it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, have we said enough about that?
Yeah, my only thought is that there are a lot of Seven Sage super fans out there. So, hey, if we got something wrong and you want to correct the record, please write the show
Oh, for sure.
and we will
Yeah,
we will still probably reject any bad notions out there, but to the extent that we mess things up, let us know. At the same time, I'm struggling to see how this is overall helpful. I like that it's review. Like, hey, good. Encourage people to dig into questions that they don't
and
understand.
I like the idea of reviewing questions blind,
Mm-hmm.
which just means without knowing the answer.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
But the idea that you're just going to do it again and get it right this time, I I just don't know that you've actually learned anything. You, I mean, you know what, actually, Ben? It's the exact opposite of the message that this sends.
Mm.
If your blind review score is way higher than your timed score, the lesson is not that you need to speed up. The lesson is that you need to slow down. Oh, you got it right when you took your time on it?
Mm-hmm.
No shit, you got it right when you took your time on it.
Yeah.
That's because when you take your time, you read it correctly, you understand what it said, and it's not that hard to answer it.
Practice doing that.
So now practice doing that instead of like, oh, great. So you need to do time drills and like force yourself to go faster. That's not going to lead to the result you think it's going to lead to.
Yeah.
Anyway, let us know that we're wrong. Reach out to us at thinkinglsat.com. We're happy to talk about rebuttals.
Cool.
What's next?
Maddie writes in asking about lived experience / perspective essays.
She says, I have a question about the very common lived experience / perspective essays. Most of the schools I'm applying to have this essay as mandatory or optional encouraged. For context, I'm applying to mostly T25 schools. I have a strong GPA, but a slightly under median LSAT of 169. So I'm trying to write essays that will boost me. My idea for my lived experience essay is as follows. I'm from Kentucky. My family lived in rural Appalachia for 150 years, and I grew up in Louisville. This has heavily shaped who I am. I have a lot of pride for being from Kentucky, and I think Appalachia is underrepresented in intellectual spaces, including law school. At the same time, I observed a lot of systemic racism and classism growing up in Louisville, and that has simultaneously influenced my motivations for law school. I've worked in public defenders' offices for the last few years, and I want to become a public defender. Sounds like that's what you should write your personal statement about, working in the public defender's office.
Totally.
Okay. She goes on and says, I'm a white cis woman, and I'm concerned about writing an essay that appears tone deaf or detached from reality. I do think I am a unique applicant, given my breadth of work experience and my background, but I know that I have not faced nearly as much adversity as many other applicants. Should I keep thinking, or do you think this idea for my essay could work? Thank you very much for your time and your insights. Your podcast rules. Very best. Maddie. What do you want to say to Maddie?
Uh, the devil's in the details. It depends on how you talk about these things,
Sure.
but I don't see a problem fundamentally with talking about your lived experience from Kentucky. That's your lived experience. So just tell it humbly and honestly.
Totally agree. Be real careful, Maddie, about the use of the word unique,
Mm,
for example.
hmm
I mean, hillbilly elegy exists. J.D. Vance went to Yale. J.D. Vance is the vice president of the United States
hmm
who wrote about his Meemaw in his book. And, so it's like, yes, I agree. I think you can talk about, uh, I guess, maybe don't give the opinion that Appalachia is underrepresented in intellectual spaces.
Just talk about your experience there, right? Like you
Talk
don't need
about
to.
your experience in
Yeah,
Appalachia.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't
I
need to
think that's
sell
the
them on why this lived experience is special. Yeah.
right. Right. Yeah. Look at the prompt, see exactly what the prompt is asking for, and then give them that, but in a humble, plain spoken sort of a way. And I think it sounds great. Who cares that you're a white cis woman? I mean, what?
You're a
40,
human, so just write about it.
yeah, and 48% of the population is a cis woman, probably, or I don't know, like,
Could be higher.
you know,
Yeah.
like you're not, well, I think she's saying, like, hey, because I'm so common,
mm,
I'm concerned about writing this essay.
mm,
Yeah, okay, but you're writing about what actually your experiences were in Appalachia.
hmm
And I guess what I meant to say is the vast majority of people who end up going to top 25 law schools look like you.
hmm
I think people sometimes think like, oh, I'm not diverse, so I am not, nobody's going to like me.
mm.
But it is, the law schools are still extremely white and straight and more conservative probably than people think.
And in need of students.
And desperately in need of a whole new class of people every single year. Yeah. I mean, she says top 25. I want to take a quick look at lsatdemon.com/scholarships. We haven't done this yet on this show. This tool totally kicks ass. I can just scroll right down to 25 in the country. Number 25 in the well, maybe I'll pick something that's kind of, how about Georgia?
Okay.
Maybe she's interested in going to Georgia. Athens, Georgia. 50th percentile LSAT 169, exactly her score.
Hmm.
You know what would really move the needle?
Or else
If
that's
she
score.
would get 2 more LSAT points. Yeah. That's the thing that would transform her candidacy at a school like University of Georgia.
Yeah.
Median GPA is pretty good, 3.91. She said she has good grades, so I'm going to trust her. She's probably already over the median there. But the thing I really wanted to look up was like, this idea that these schools are ultra competitive. It's a bit of a myth
Yeah.
because, it's true that last year Georgia only accepted about 14% of the people who applied.
hmm
But for every person they admitted, 2 people, or for every person, sorry, for every 3 people they admitted, only one of them actually enrolled. So it's true. They have to turn down a shit ton of bad applicants every year. But the good applicants that they do admit have other options. And I just want to make sure that, who are we talking to here? Maddie, I don't want you to have apprehension about this process. I want you to feel yourself to be in control here. because you are. Apply broadly. You're a terrific applicant. A couple more LSAT points would make you an even more terrific applicant. But I think this is all going to work out really well for Maddie.
Cool.
What's next?
Yeah, we got the personal statement Gong show. Nestor is up next. This is season 2, by the way. And he's chasing the current record of 11 lines.
You want to read it?
Sure.
Okay.
All right, Nestor, at the top of your personal statement, I see you have your name, you have your LSAC number. That's good. But then on another line, you have personal statement. Just put those all in the same line. Your font and font size and spacing looks good.
Okay.
And I see that it's only 1.5 pages about, so
Love
that's
that.
good too.
Love that. I prefer a page and a half to 2 pages.
Yeah, keep it short.
If you can't tell the story in a page and a half, I don't believe that you can tell it in 2 pages.
All right. First sentence. As a logistics officer in the Marine Corps, I coordinate support for more than 1,200 Marines and sailors in forward deployed environments and across multiple training exercises.
A bit vague, a bit high level, but it is sharing a very important fact, like an impressive fact about Nestor.
Yeah. Yeah, a little vague, right? Also, Trump case on logistics officer. I don't think that needs to be titled. Capitalized.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, I have a feeling that military folk capitalize all types of shit.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe it's that's
okay.
how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Next sentence. Transportation, ammunition, food, and water. Anything needed to train and fight. I ensured my team procured and delivered.
Okay. That's not a good sentence, dude. Don't put the subject after the object for no reason. You could just say, I ensured the team procured transportation, ammunition, food, and water. And then if you want to do your cute M dash, you can. You could just say M dash, anything needed to train and fight.
Perfect.
But there you're starting the sentence with a bunch of things only to get around to you as the subject of the sentence. That's just unnecessarily complicated for no benefit.
Nestor might have heard us complaining about every sentence starting with I and decided to move the sentence around despite the fact that it's still fundamentally an I sentence.
That's not the way to do it, though. There's other ways to do it. Don't do it that way.
Yep. I later transitioned these experiences into an instructor and course manager role.
You what now?
Transitioned?
You transitioned these experiences into a different job?
This sounds like some metaphysical thing that's not possible.
No, that's literally not possible. That is not what happened. You did not transition those experiences into anything else. You might have leveraged those experiences to get a different job.
Yeah.
But you're trying too hard, dude. I guarantee you don't speak like this. And you're trying to be fancy. And you just got to take it down like 3 notches.
Yeah.
Okay, so now changing roles to course manager.
Where Nestor writes, I took over a staff planning course, parentheses, maritime pre-positioning force, comma, leading a cadre of 4 instructors from the Army, Navy, and Marine Corps.
25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36 words in that not good sentence. I'm very close to ringing the gong here on Nestor to just say, dude, I'd love to have you try again, but not like this. The writing here is getting in the way of your facts.
Yeah.
I want to put Nestor on a hard limit of like no more than 25 words per sentence. I learned it as 35 words per sentence, but I don't think that's actually good. I think we need to be more like 30 or even 25 words per sentence.
Yeah.
Because people have to learn how to write directly. And this is the exact opposite of that. I mean, you could have had I led a cadre of 4 instructors.
My
You know,
cadre. Just say I led 4 instructors. Like, there's a lot of overselling here.
that would be fine too. Yes. I mean, they're like, yeah, we could make edits and edits on top of edits. I'm going to give him one more sentence.
This
I'm
is
on my way to the gong.
yeah. Well, I'm also holding it up because when it says over the course of my tenure, overselling, I'm done.
Yeah. I'm a tenured instructor in the, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
This is
Keep
like
going.
over the course of your career. Like, you don't
Right.
actually need to say that. Just say what you did, and it becomes obvious that you did a lot. When you try to shove it down our throats by saying I had tenure, I mean, not like literal professor tenure, but when I have loads of experience is what you're trying to say, it comes across poorly.
Just say what you did.
Yeah.
Just say what you did. Not over the course of my tenure, I trained.
This is weird too. 537 students. It's oddly specific for such a large number. Just say I trained over 500 students and collaborated with multiple military agencies to review. Actually, this sentence is weird to me because you're talking about training students and collaborating with multiple military agencies. Those seem like 2 wildly different tasks, each one of which could be unpacked with greater detail to help me better understand the significance of your training or the significance of your collaboration.
Yep.
So it's almost like this is too high level. That's what you said at the beginning, right, Nate? And it seems like that's just continuing. It's like high level, high level, high level. Like, dig into a story of one of these.
Yeah. Did you finish that sentence?
No, I'm done. We can. Yeah. I trained 537 students and collaborated with multiple military agencies to review doctrine and update curriculum, ensuring our lessons reflected the most current operational procedures.
Way too many ideas going on in that one sentence. That sentence, by the way, is 31 words. Previous sentence was 36 words. This is 31 words. Really? Back to back? Come on, dude. Try again. The gong has been rung. Sorry, Nestor. But we would love to invite you back on the show if you cut it way down. I mean, I'm talking about hard limit 25 words per sentence. And just say what you did in plain speech.
Yep.
We made it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines for Nestor. And that does not take over the lead in season 2 of the Personal Statement Gong Show. Umang still leading with 11 lines. Word of the week, and I think we're done.
Yeah. Here, I'll read this sentence. It's coming to us from the majority opinion, authored by Chief Justice Warner in Miranda versus Arizona, which was a 5-4 decision. Apparently, this has got to be the famous case, right? This is where the name Miranda rights comes from.
And I never would have thought that Miranda would have been such a close decision. It seems like everybody has followed Miranda for forever, right? I mean, I don't know when that course was. Chief Justice, or when that case was 1966. But Miranda is the thing that you see on cop shows,
all the time.
Read you your rights.
Yeah. And here's a quick description from the team. This is a landmark decision by the Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court, in which the court ruled that law enforcement in the United States must warn a person of their constitutional rights before interrogating them when they are in custody or not free to leave an investigation, or else the person's statements cannot be used as evidence at their trial. So if you're actually free to leave or you're not in the custody, they don't have to give you this warning. It sounds like. I mean, that's the implication.
So that's why you can say, am I in custody? And if they say, yes, you are in custody, they have to read you their rights or your rights, or else they can't use any of your statements. Once they do read you your rights, one of those rights is going to be you have the right to an attorney, at which point you say, I want my attorney.
Thank you. Yes.
And that's all you say. Okay.
All right. Here's the sentence from that majority opinion. I wonder when this case was decided.
66.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Since the state is responsible for establishing the isolated circumstances under which the interrogation takes place and has the only means of making available corroborated evidence of warnings given during incommunicado interrogation. The burden is rightly on its shoulders.
On the state's shoulders.
Correct. The burden's not on the defendant. The burden is on the state.
The word of the week is incommunicado. I do know what that word means. What do you think an incommunicado interrogation would be?
So I don't know what that word means. So in means no, and communicado sounds like communication to me. So it almost sounds like during an interrogation when the defendant has no communication with anyone else. That's what it sounds like to me. But
yeah, they put them in interrogation rooms.
Yeah, with the mirror that you can't see through.
Potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. And you're just like sitting in there, handcuffed potentially to the table.
Mm-hmm.
And then the cops come in and do the good cop, bad cop, and one of them tries to give you a Coke, and the other one threatens to kick your ass.
Yeah.
But you are incommunicado during that interrogation, which means, as you said, Ben, you unpacked it from the roots. You're not in communication with anybody else, except, your lawyer, if they read you your rights and remind you that you have the right to have an attorney present.
Yeah.
During the interrogation, at which point you say, yes, I would like my attorney. Thank you. So incommunicado means without communication, right? Should we look up the actual definition?
Yeah. It says without means of communication in a situation or state not allowing communication. All right, cool. Interesting.
There we go. And that's from an actual case that you almost certainly will encounter in law school at some point.
Be LSAT famous. Please ask questions or share news with us on our website, thinkinglsat.com, or on socials at LSATdemon. If you have questions about the demon, you can email help@lsatdemon.com. You can also check out our other podcast, LSAT Demon Daily. That was episode 531 of the Thinking LSAT podcast. Thanks all y'all for listening. Nice knowing you. Don't pay for law school.